masajid are the only worship places among all the religions of the world where you will find a system of washing. No other church or temples or have anything. And this is a blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He blessed us with such a clean and hygienic religion. And subhanallah, as I mentioned in one of the khutbah also, that according to the Harvard research paper, during the COVID, the ratio of infection and the deaths were almost close to 50% less in the Muslim world. And one of the reasons they mentioned is the Tahara, that Muslims are required. Now, my respected brothers, especially ibadat, and when it comes to salat, the Tahara is a condition. And if the Tahara is not properly done, then the salat is not valid. There are examples that Rasulullah saw somebody praying in the masjid, and he figured out that he has not done proper Tahara. Rasulullah sent him back, go make your wudu again and pray again. This is a sensitive matter that we need to be properly aware of what are the requirements. And especially we take care of our children, we teach them, because when we grow up, then we don't have, or we rarely have any chance that we fix or we learn better. Some of the common mistakes in the Tahara that ulama have pointed out and have written books, we need to be aware of that. I'm going to mention only 4. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that this has been reported about him in Sahih al-Bukhari, أنه كان يغتسل بالصاع إلى 5 أمداد ويتبطأ بالمد. The first mistake we do is that we run a lot of water. We waste a lot of water, and this is called israf. And إنه لا يحب المسرفين. Allah does not like the people that they do israf. They spend extra, more than needed water, and this is a sinful activity. We are trying to make wudu and trying to make salah to earn good deeds, and we end up having sins. This is something we need to be very careful. The hadith of Sahih al-Bukhari says Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to take shower with 1 sa' or 5 mud, and he used to make wudu with 1 mud. These are the mayyars that has been mentioned in the hadith to mayyar volume. So mud is when we put our palms together of both hands and make a cup or a bowl shape. Whatever water comes in that is 1 mud. And that's what Rasulullah used to make wudu with. And if we add 4 mud, it becomes 1 sa'. And that's what Rasulullah used to take that much water to take shower. And we put a little bit water on the arm or on the feet, and then we rub it all around. This rubbing is wajib among the Malikiyah, that without this the wudu is not complete. So we need to be very careful, especially Allah has blessed them with abundant water, no limit. We don't run the faucet on the full, and then we are busy in brushing the teeth or miswak or applying soap, and the water is running, and we have to be very careful because this is a sensitive matter. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Sayakunu fi hadhihi al-ummati qawmun ya'tadduna fi at-tuhur." There will be people in this ummah that will be exaggerating in the tahara. And when he was asked, what is exaggeration in the tahara? وَلْيَتَدَاءُ فِي الطُّهُورِ هُوَ الزِّيَادَةُ عَلَى الثَّلَاثِ وَالْإِسْرَافِ الْمَاءِ. 2 things. Washing an organ apart more than 3 times. This is israf. This is not allowed. And secondly, wasting a lot of water. So we have to be very careful. This is the first thing. Second thing, that making the wudu perfect and not taking care that those parts which are required to wash in the wudu, not a spot or a hair should be left dry. And this is especially behind the elbows, behind the heels. These are the areas that many times, if we are not careful, is left dry. So hadith in Musnad Ahmad, أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم رأى رجلا يصلي وفي ظهر قدمه لمعة قدر الدرهم لم يصبه الماء فأمره رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أن يعيد الوضوء. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw a person performing salat, and behind his heel there was a spot equal to dirham, which was dry. It was not wet. And the dirham, if you translate it, it will become like a spot, like a fingernail, that big. That was left dry, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam noticed, and he sent him back, go make your wudu again, which means you make your salat again also. So we have to be very careful about these things. We, especially in the month of Ramadan, we don't want to make our salat waste or invalid. Number 3, carelessness while using the restroom, especially while peeing or urinating. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this is a big one, because in Sahih al-Bukhari and Muslim, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed by 2 graves, and he was a Nabi, as a mu'jiza, as a miracle. He heard both these graves, two men are being punished in the azab. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, فَسَمِعَ صَوْتُ رَجُلَيْنِ يُعَذَّبَانِ فِي قُبُورِهِمَا. He heard the sound of the azab that they were given in their qubur. And he said, كَانَ أَحَدُهُمَا لَا يَسْتَطِرُ مِنْ بَوْلِهِ. One of them, the reason he is being given azab in the qabr, and the azab al-qabr is a very horrible one. There are details in the ahadith. And he said that one of them, he was not careful while urinating. Stains of urine should not be on our legs, on our pants, and both our dress and body needs to be clean. And if we are not careful and we are just walking around and living like that with a lot of impurity and najasa, that results into not only that the ibadat are not acceptable, but can result into serious consequences in the akhirat and in the grave. And number 4 is a kind of sensitive matter, but I just want to mention it for the sake of education, that it's not a condition in the intercourse to make the ghusl, that unless a person is not released, the ghusl is not wajib. No. If the intercourse is done, and whether a person is released or not, the ghusl becomes wajib, and without ghusl cannot be performed salat, cannot enter to masjid. That is a very clear hadith about this from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is the month of Ramadan, my respected brothers. We need to pick up a small book of Tahara, and we go over it, and it's a good revision. And in Arabic language they say, even if I know it, fil i'adati ifada, if I revise anything, repeat anything, it's always helpful. It doesn't matter. So it's a good, we cannot go into details over here, but we need to pick up a book in any language that I feel comfortable and go over it and make and fix if there has been any mistake that I have been doing. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our ibadat and ta'at in this special month of Ramadan.